sometimes we have these weird issues in which either our calling software or some hardware is acting up. So we appreciate your patience. Tetcher will be back in a moment from now. We want to provide you with the best listening and visual experience as possible. So that is the least we can do. Dragonshire, map number 2 between those teams. And boy, oh boy, RPG, not only do they have some catching up to do, but most importantly, in my opinion, they do have some redeeming to do. Because up to this point, I consider myself, like I've always considered myself an RPG fan. And as an RPG fan, watching the last 3 games in a row, I'm heavily disappointed. I want to see more.
I would agree. Test 1, 2, 3, by the way.
Welcome back, Human Tencher.
Marvelous. Freaking hardware. As we see here, the Maiev ban. We'll likely see a Genji ban moved in with this.
Yeah.
And there it is.
Genji's banned out. So are we going to see a ban on Diablo? Because quite honestly, that was very scary. That was incredibly scary. And there we go.
Yeetskook/Kaitu has just been dominant on this hero ever since he joined the A team after their initial tank player was banned from league play for the rest of the year. And
probably for the better.
He's been performing great.
Doing much
they've been
better.
performing great.
We miss Uncle G, that's for sure. But ever since his departure, you know, the A team has just been a transformed team. I'm not sure what the reason is. Maybe it gave them motivation, some inspiration as well to try harder. Maybe it's just Yeetskook, you know, fitting into the team more. Maybe he's got more synergy.
Quite possibly. Maybe. I mean, he honestly fits very well, but we do know that Diablo is 100% a hero of his that is scary. And why it's a really sensible ban, and kind of wish I'd seen it beforehand from RPG as opposed to whatever they banned out in the first game. We're going to be seeing the Yarel and the Deckard Cain coming in as the first 2 picks of RPG.
All right, pretty standard, pretty solid here, what we see from RPG. Very, very safe choices, I think. There's very little you can do wrong with any Rel these days. She's very foolproof, almost, you know, good escapes, super hard to kill. Same for Deckard Cain. The potions are normally a really strong tool to keeping people alive.
Whitemane does come in here for the A team this time. The supports, in fact, completely swapped around.
That is correct. And it's super fascinating to see how well Deckard Cain is doing, you know, with other supports finally making the climb, like that Whitemane, for example. Deckard Cain still, in my personal opinion, continues to be the overall most reliable support that we have in terms of, you know, protection, utility, crowd control, disengage. He's basically got it all.
I would agree. I think you are correct there. He does a fantastic job overall. The only thing he doesn't do well is AoE healing, and Ancient Blessings fixes that pretty effectively once you hit the late game.
Yeah. In my opinion, there is no game in which you can't pick Ancient Blessings. True, situationally, there might be, you know, some value in the other talents, like the Super Potions, for example, but you know, you can't go wrong with Ancient Blessings. Even if your team doesn't have dedicated auto attackers, on Warriors alone, that talent is going to give you so much value.
Yeah. I will be pedantic here and say that there is one situation where you should not pick Ancient Blessings, and that is if you're in ARAM, in which case you pick the mana potions, the AoE healing, and the bottomless flask.
All right,
because there's a chance is you're going to die. Just give your team AoE potions, just bung them right in the siege location of wherever the enemy's buildings are, and just let your team stand in them.
Speaking of ARAM, Tetcher, I would love to see a competitive ARAM match at some point.
There was a tournament, like sometime early this year, I think. So
bring it back.
I agree. I'd like to see that again. I'm sure that could be a fun thing. Maybe a post-BlizzCon pre-season relaxation.
Exactly. Make it an all-star game, you know?
Mixed. Yeah, pro players, but mixed teams. Like, pick 5 captains and let them pick their own players.
Yeah, or pick pro team captains and let them choose their casters.
What? Oh, you be cast as players. Oh, I see. Okay.
Absolutely. Turn it around. Let the pro players decide which casters they want in their team.
That's fair. That could be fun. Or just the rule you have to have at least one caster. And we finally get to see DSL back on that Cassia. Unless, of course, he's on the Jaina, which is also possible. It's another one of the heroes he has played.
All right. Can RPG bring it back? They need to bounce back. They have the tools assembled, but so they basically did last game. When I saw their draft last game, you know, the Fawcett was a little bit of a liability factor, but I don't think it looked super terrible on paper. The way it was executed, though, unfortunately, not the best one I've ever seen. Petra, who are you giving sway to when you look at those two formations?
Ooh, I mean, RPG are back on a lot more comfort heroes, and they've banned out several comforts of the A team. What's Bruiser playing again?
We shall see in a bit. When we take another look at those drafts showing up on screen.
Yeah. But looking at those two compositions, like without remembering what Bruiser picked, what the melee assassin or offlaner is for the A team, I think the A team's draft looks pretty solid. But the RPG have a lot more of their comfort picks. Yeah. So depending on what that final pick is, I'm leaning towards RPG. Let's find out. It is
the Malthael again.
Malthael again with Greymane. I retract that statement. I really do like the A-team's draft. The Decade's the only thing that really, really scares me here.
Yeah, and playing on the left-hand side in the blues, of course, is again the A-team with LK, Olele, Bruiser, Stugos, and Itzkuk.
And on the right, RPG with Free Show, MJ, Pa, C, and DSL.
Now, DSL is back on the Cassia, shying away from the experiments this time around, not going for anything like, let's say, the false stat that we saw last game, but going back to his baby girl, to Cassia, and we know very well what he can do on that hero. It probably fits his playstyle a little more. She's more resilient. She allows to, get closer to the enemy team a little bit without taking so much damage, and also unleashes tons of damage if used correctly. So what does the enemy team have on the other hand? They do have a Malthael who doesn't really care about the physical armor reduction of Cassia. They do have a Greymane who has a surprising amount of magic damage or ability damage as well if he goes for a go for the throat, which I think he should.
And also Razor Swipe, pretty decent amount of damage just from that one ability alone. At least we're not talking cocktail build anymore, which was basically turning Greymane into a mage slash melee assassin, which was always a bit absurd. Now we're seeing C, great dodging from the majority of the abilities here, giving Pa a chance to land those Cassia shots, because it is actually Pa playing that Cassia. C escapes. So yeah, with DSL on that Jaina, with Pa on that Cassia, how well are they going to be able to defend this?
Yeah, that was actually really close because the cooldown of Dwarf Toss just came back off cooldown slightly faster than the toss of Garrosh. Otherwise, that probably would have been the end of Muradin. But as it is, Muradin already taking so much damage, needs to be a little more careful. The A-team just seems to be one step ahead of their opponents at all times. Even now, they're taking the Siege Giant camp and the Bruiser camp at the same time because they were able to dominate those early rotations, creating and making so much space on the map here. That RPG, look at what they're doing. They're still rotating in lane. They haven't even touched a single mercenary camp up to this point.
I will say quickly, because we did get, we were mistaken earlier saying that DSL was on the Cassia. There is good reason for this. As I mentioned earlier, DSL's Cassia is on a 60% win rate. His Jaina's on a 0. I see no reasoning outside of potential practice sessions and scrims where they had success with it to have gone for this particular change. LK dropping low and picked off by C and Jaina. Deca Kane actually the ones who get the final kill. DSL going to try and channel again. Hyper aggressive here.
Yeah, very aggressive, and as we see here, DSL trying to make the plays on Jaina. Muradin gets tossed into the backline yet again, is running dangerously low on mana, but if he picks up that Dragonite, it won't even matter. Oh my goodness, I totally saw him in there already, but Olele in the top lane with a strong rotation and good reaction.
Yeah, I also thought he had it. DSL is now being forced to move up to top lane to assist in not only recapping that shrine, but the clearing of the lane. He's got a fountain currently, but is already low on mana from previously. Free Show dropping low. There's a good toss, and Free Show will drop.
Itzkuk seems to be all over the place. Even Malthael here, Bruiser getting a kill in the bottom against Cassia. Like, Itzkuk in particular, we mentioned him last game, right, with a strong Diablo performance. We see him here doing really well on the Garrosh as well. He seems to be all over the place, always finding that sweet spot, that good opening to enable his team to get the kills.
Itzkuk trying to channel C with a quick interrupt. Currently 2 kills to 1 in favor of the A-team. They do move forward. Stugos just tries to walk past C. C is currently basically 1v3ing, but he does have MJ healing him, but there's only so much he can do. There's a kill onto Jaina and Muradin, and well, they do deny the turn-in thanks to Free Show in the top lane, but that's a double kill. It's now 4 kills to 1. It's approaching that full level lead situation we had last game, and the A-team are starting to look really strong.
Still a really funky move there by MJ on the Deca Kane, with just the tip of this triangle. he was able to interrupt yet again the Dragon Knight attempt here. And in the meanwhile, we had Irel taking care of the top shrine as well. MJ needs to run as fast as his old legs can carry him. Pa, unfortunately, completely surrounded. Takes very little damage, though, in the process as long as he keeps moving. And we see yet another death against RPG, and that is the trouble. That is the problem for them. That has been the problem all game, all series long. They find themselves outnumbered, too slow to help, too slow to react.
Well then, with C backing up, not wanting to get himself caught out of position anymore, how else are they going to be able to play this? They move in onto Bruiser, trying to pick up a kill.
Oh, he's going to heal through that easy.
Rotation. LK is probably going to get the double kill here. Quick groundbreaker, quick toss-up with the Wrecking Ball. And the A-team, they're just picking up kill after kill right now. 7 kills to 1. It's literally just how many kills can they get before this Dragon Knight is just given to them at this point.
I mean, at this point, they're just dismantling RPG. From left to right, from top to bottom, they're always there when the situation will reward them with a kill. They just seem to find those openings over and over again. Now both shrines are in control. Only now does Irel respawn. Now the saving grace for RPG at this point has been the low death timers, right? But even this time, the low death timers won't save him. So now we see a little bit of anti-healing and damage onto Olele. Needs to run for his life, so does Yitzkuk. But here comes the white main healing plus Garrosh. It is so powerful. The armor keeping him safe for now as well. LLK is trying to go for the big flank, but Pa says no. With all that team fighting going down in the bottom lane, that Dragon Knight has been completely left unattended. And it looks like Bruiser is going to melt, quite literally, that middle lane.
Oh man, this is approaching a 2-level lead at this point. Slowly getting there. See as he moves into tower range, so no healing. He's going to sneak back though, no one interrupting him. Finally moving back through, no healing static available yet, or Avatar, and as such, C will likely be killed here, unless RPG, with already killing Greymane, they're now focusing onto Yitzkuk. Yitzkuk will die here, and C, with that distraction being knocked back, the rest of RPG able to get some great turnaround kills.
That was actually the first sign of life here coming in from RPG. That was a really good fight, a little bit too greedy maybe and overzealous on the side of the A-team. They really brute forced or tried to brute force their way in through the middle. The Dragon Knight took so much damage in the process, wasn't able to entirely destroy the mid lane, but it's still looking very, very much damaged. And you know, with a little bit of comeback experience, RPG have now closed this gap, made it to a 1-level disadvantage from a 2-level disadvantage.
Garrosh holding his heroic for no reason. Decimate just shouldn't be picked here. Look at the enemy team. Taunt's going to affect Cassia, going to affect Muradin, going to affect Jaina, going to affect Urel. It's just, don't pick Decimate. Just don't do it.
We've seen it once in China, haven't we? Who picked it again?
Yeah, and it lost.
Quite miserably, yes.
That's all I remember. As we see on the other side, the A-team, there's the Tormented Souls coming in for Malthael. That I don't mind at all. Apply that percentage damage to all those armor-focused heroes, like the Urel, like the Muradin, like the Cassia, etc., etc. So I don't mind that at all. And also, AoE damage versus Deckard Cain is always pretty reasonable.
Here comes Yitzkuk, still hasn't locked in his heroic ability. What are we going to see here? The knockback from Urel keeps them at bay for now. I mean, maybe they're trying to think about a Decimate slow Phoenix Salvo synergy combo, but still,
it does slow, I guess.
But
yeah, it's Decimate. That's the issue here. As we, Bruiser clearing out bot lane.
They don't really have any other slowing sources other than Phoenix himself, right? So, okay, White Mane on the Inquisition,
White Mane
maybe.
Inquisition,
That's
Phoenix
about
himself, Malthael's Cold Hand at level 7. They're going to focus on Zafar here. Ring of Frost is actually avoided, thanks to Stay Apart and Listen. They get the kill onto Cassia instead, as C moves into the backline, Tormented Souls affecting DSL, and C, with the salvo. That is going to be a triple kill. Make that a quad with, finally, the Warlord's challenge for Yitzkuk.
That looked a little scary there for a moment. However, the Scarlet Aegis was perfect. The sustain was really well executed, and most importantly, the spread as well. They didn't stick together anymore. They clumped at the beginning, but then to avoid more AoE damage, they spread out, and they're probably going to take at least one fort in the bottom from this.
MJ taking a little bit of damage. Bruiser
what
chasing
is MJ
him down.
doing?
Guess who wins this 1v1? You have a guess. Guess what? It's not the person who's not a solo laner, as we see Bruiser just murdering him. LK not respecting the 1v1, but it's given time for DSL and C to rotate up, but that's not going to stop Greymane just taking the Dragon Knight while this happens, assuming, no, they can't actually stay on the point, so Dragon Knight will not be taken here. Nice rotation up by RPG, but was that worth the cost of your support? I don't think so.
Definitely not. I mean, MJ probably realized that Phoenix was already behind him, so the only way left for him to escape was the bold move of escaping forward, right? However, that didn't go so well for him because he was so deep in enemy territory. More reinforcements on the side of the A team had already trickled in. So yeah, this is definitely going to be another Dragon Knight here. They didn't have anyone in the bottom lane to contest this. They're just getting out-rotated all across the map right now. And with that Dragon Knight already doing great work onto that middle fort before, they can now actually try to just, you know, stall the enemies out. That is a nice punt. However, it takes a little bit of damage in the process. So yeah, what they can do right now is just send the Dragon Knight to the bottom of the top and then apply pressure on the opposite lane as a 4-man, 3-man unit depending. Oh, Free Show is in a dangerous spot here. That punt into the backline was pretty good. No Divine Steed, and I think Raymond on the hunt is probably going to get the kill with Malphite.
Does he have the trait active? He has Ardent Defender staying alive. Look at that patience, not to bring a single auto attack.
Oh, the save!
Oh my god, that actually worked.
Garrosh is here though.
Kept it going. The Garrosh is trying to get through Warbreaker, but it's too much. Garrosh got baited. Ring of Frost hits no one, but they got the kill. Free Show lived. Talk about a free kill, more like, as they were able to pick up Garrosh.
I totally saw Irel dead there. She was surrounded by so many enemy heroes. Even used the Ardent Defender, which I had thought was a waste because of that 100% guaranteed death, but then came MJ on the Decker Cane. Then he dropped that Stay a While and Listen to Sleep to put to sleep everyone chasing Irel. What a play by the support of RPG.
What a play indeed. So impressive, but they've got to do more than have a couple cheeky escapes to bring themselves back into this game. They're trying to make the most of Garrosh being dead and stealing their opponent's Siege Giant Cam. Problem is, the A-team is still gaining value, grabbing a Bruiser Cam, moving their way towards level 16s. Also, Garrosh is alive once again, so even with that kill, even with protecting all their keeps, they still haven't taken a fort. They still have to fight Garrosh, and now there's level 16 available for the A-team.
Speaking of Garrosh, needs to be careful. Gets dropped down to 50% health. And that is basically the name of the game here right now. Although RPG is behind by 3 levels almost, although they haven't been able to destroy a single fort yet themselves, no keep has been taking. So the A-team, if they go for only 1 or 2 bad engagements, 1 or 2 bad team fights, they're providing so much combat XP to RPG that they could still lose this. However, if Garrosh gets focused like that, he's probably going to make sure the kills are going to happen.
They even hold the point. Salvo interrupted, though. Urel is the first one to fall. Tormented Souls in the backline doing crazy damage, and the A-team just marching through this. We've got more kills than you've got levels as they just crush through MJ and Muradin. DSL, the only survivor.
I mean, we mentioned A-team not having anything in the bank just yet because no keep has been destroyed up to this point. But now, look at the disaster as it's completing itself. 4 members dead, mercenaries knocking on the front door of RPG, on the bottom, on the top lane as well. The push is real. The shrines are going to get active in 8 seconds. And because of all that push in the bottom and the top lane, there's no way RPG can actually move outside their base and contest this Dragon Knight. And as we are almost 13 minutes into the game, Tetcher, I think that could very well be lights out if they march in through the middle and the bottom.
I don't think MJ heard me correctly. This isn't ARAM. That's not Ancient Blessings at level 13 coming in.
It is the AoE healing.
Is it, or is it the Super Potions? I don't know the icon difference,
no,
they're never picked.
Super Potion has a different icon. It is the AoE healing, which...
Wow. Cool.
I don't know, man. Even with a Kase in your team, you could have probably gotten more value. But hey, maybe they're desperate. Maybe they're saying, you know what? We need that additional healing. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to defend this base. Maybe it's a situational pick.
Maybe, but the situation is the core's dying, and neither one would really help against this. There's a knockback. You can see that big AoE heal come out. Dragon Knight's already pretty low. This is the last chance for RPG. The Aegis was very good. Stay a while and listen from MJ is pretty clutch, actually. But Malthael is holding the line right now in the front line, doing crazy damage. Taunt is good, but Ardent Defender keeps them going as Cassio is the first one taken down. MJ in the backline survives the LK engage, but with the kill, it's looking good. As the core goes down, the AT burning through it. Salvo coming out, interrupted. Nice job, Urel.
They need to focus the core.
Down onto Stugos. Stugos dropping low, but he's staying alive with that healing. C dives deep, but Olele finishes the core.
Olele and LK, the two players that have impressed us so much in game number 1, also deliver the killing blow in a combined effort attack there on the enemy core. RPG completely destroyed and dismantled in that series. No chance for what we thought would be the victor of that series. On paper, they were coming into this as a slight favorite, you know, being placed higher than the A team in the standings. But boy, oh boy, did they get dismantled this time around.
Yes, they did, and that is fantastic news for the A team as they pick up a solid 3 points. That moves them up. That doesn't move them up the table, but it puts a 4-point difference between themselves and KT, which keeps them a little bit safer from having to play extra matches when it comes to that. Excuse me, when it comes to avoiding that crucible spot.
Exactly. Now, instead of, you know, having to win 2 series in a row in order to avoid that crucible in 7th and 8th place, they only need to win 1 game in the playoffs against KT or Team Nut, whoever wins that one. So yeah, great job by the A team. And if they continue playing like this, who knows? They might still actually overtake RPG, which would be the perfect sweet spot, because if you place 5th in the league, then you basically get rid of any obligations. You can even lose your only series in the playoffs, and you're still not going to drop out of the Pro League. You're still going to maintain the monies and the fame of playing in HGC China.
That you will. But RPG,
oh man,
that's bad news for them. That was not a good performance, and they've still got to play a second time today versus SBT.
That's not going to get any easier.
Easy. But again, the same thing can be said for the A team. They've got CE later today as well, but that's good momentum from those first 2 games to carry forward into that series. They've just got to wait for 2 more series to happen first beforehand. As we wait for the MVP to be crowned.
Who would you choose? Olele or LK? Who got more kills? Who dealt more damage?
But
I think LK got the first one. Give it to Olele.
I mean, I don't think it's down to the kills as to why they won that game. I think a lot of that was just due to Malthael. So I'm going to give it to Bruiser. I think his distraction play in that last fight especially, and throughout the rest of the game, his top lane was fine. His performance last game as well, holding the line against 2 heroes, was also good. So a cumulative effect of being a great solo laner and being a fantastic distraction while his entire team was basically stay a while and listened. He 1v4'd to keep his team in the game just so that his team would not get blown up, so that he was the only viable target. Survived thanks to Tormented Souls, and that let his team wake up and just end the game. I think I've got to give it to Bruiser.
The same can be said about Eatskirk too, though, right? He played out of his mind both in Game 1 and Game 2. The Garrosh was always there where it needed to be. I think without Garrosh and his perfect positioning, they wouldn't have been able to get that many kills. He died only... Did he even die once? I don't remember. I think he may have died once, Eatskirk, but hey, you're a tank player. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, you're the one who takes the damage. That's the point.
Exactly.
So it happens.
If only we could choose like a team MVP. Like, I wish everybody in that team could get the MVP, because the A team easily played their best series of the phase.
Are you suggesting that the MVP was the concept of teamwork and friendship? Is that what you're suggesting right now?
For once. Just an exception. This time.
Was that an Alaric impression?
Actually, no, not intended. Not intended. All right.
All right, who's getting its final stats? 18-4, 0 structures taken by RPG. Full domination by the A team from start to finish. Almost double their second from bottom stat. I can't remember what it is. I think that's hero damage.
That is siege damage.
Siege damage, okay. So yeah, nearly double. Which was
comes with very little surprise. If you can take down any structures, then that means your sieging hasn't really been going too well. And Bruiser, Tetcher, the Prophet, getting his pupil in there. 608. I mean, what more can you ask for when you have a top laner like that?
Yeah, he held the lane, he won the lane, he won the fights, he did the damage, he burned through all the armor that was applied. That was a good pick, and that was good play of that pick.
And it was a good pick twice in a row. Now, Bruiser widening his hero pool a little bit. We're used to seeing him on the Illidan.
Widening his hero pool by picking the same hero twice in a row. Hooray!
We haven't seen him on the Malthael this often, so I'll take it.
That is fair. That is acceptable.
And Tetra, you know what the best thing about this game was?
What is it?
It was only our first series. We've got 6
Yes.
more to go, and if
Oh,
those
God.
shape up to be as explosive and as pleasantly surprising as the first one, we're in for a good ride.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, just quickly before we jump to a break, just looking at him, apparently Malthael is Bruiser's most played hero. That never clicked for me. By
Well-
almost double.
I mean, we have seen him more in the Illidan and Blaze's ERLs and stuff like that, so hey, we'll take it. Maybe
Apparently-
he's got
yeah, apparently not.
some unknown
Wait,
history on Malthael, you know?
Well, we're not including last season. That's the thing.
That's the
this
thing.
season, it has very much been a little bit of Illidan and
True,
stuff
true.
like that. But it's like 15 on Malthael, 9 on Illidan, 9 on Thrall, and then only 3 on Blaze.
It's pretty amazing, man, to see top laners or solo laners dominate like that on those aggressive heroes. He continues to be Hugo 2.0. Very similar hero pool, actually.
He's definitely getting a lot better, and like you said, he's sticking to those styles of heroes. It is fantastic to see. For now, though, ladies and gentlemen, we are done with our first series of the day, and we are going to head to a break. But when we come back, oh, we have a gift for you. It is the 1 versus CE, so do not go anywhere.
Excellent.